Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to X Eternity versus Lowland Lions. Looks like both teams aren't actually going to be going for a first blood before I can finish my intro this time, although potentially Svenskeren. So keeping an eye on that. But anyway, this is the quarterfinals. This is the second game in the best of three. Game one having gone to X Eternity in fairly convincing fashion, but Hadel could be in trouble here. Has been aqua-prisoned. Oh boy, here comes the Ring of Frost and the crit arrow, but will she be able to put the distance between them? They've actually got that net and the barrier, so she stays alive. Pulse, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Once again, we have the action kicking off from minute one, and we saw this last game, in fact, interrupted my own intro, and in fact, slightly interrupted yours as well. And this was the second time we had Eternity moving into Lowland Lions jungle and almost getting first blooded. Had that actually gone down, we would have had a complete carbon copy of the first game, seeing if Lowland Lions can kind of repeat what they did, or and change it slightly, because we saw Irelia getting the first blood, and we were talking about this a little in the break, in the break splitting, where we were saying, had he been able to maneuver himself around that top lane of Zyra and Caitlyn, he would have been able to be in a much better position where they could have gone 2 versus 2, both of them being level 3, and completely dominated that top lane, despite it being in a detrimental situation. And that didn't actually happen this time, so they'll be on more even footing. However, both summoners down for Hadal. See if Lowland Lions can make something come of it.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at the number of summoner spells that Lowland Lions in general use to try and secure that, Flash on Lissandra, Flash on Kha'Zix, Exhaust on Nami, the Flash on Shyvana, that was well worth the bait in terms of Hadel's, Flash barrier being burned to save himself. Obviously, you wouldn't normally want to go for that because that's quite a risky thing to have to do. But, that was actually hugely important, and that means that, there's a lot of openings for Svenskeren here. If he wants to make stuff happen right now as Lee Sin, with that early game ganking potential, and having the mobility over his opponents who don't have Flash, you gotta say there's just so much potential right now.
Yeah. He's basically the perfect jungle for making things happen. But meanwhile, both Ignites go down to Mima and Baloo as well. Both of them dropping so low. Mima actually dukes into the brush, but first blood picked up with Taste Their Fear coming in from Kha'Zix. Lee Sin coming in from the south side as well. No ward on that will actually mean he might get cut off here. Teleport comes down, actually pushing himself back into lane. What's some of that creep fall for Svenskeren find himself with the Tempest going down. Huge damage in fact coming out from Baloo. Coming in with the Void Spikes as well for that healing. Can he get the Taste Their Fear down? Doesn't quite lock it up. And had he landed that last Q, that would have been a very dead Svenskeren with all that damage coming in for those caster minions.
And you would not want that to happen. You would not want Kha'Zix to get double buff.
Yeah.
And that would just be, horrendous to deal with. It would, that would just be like spelling a death sentence for Rise, because in his early game against a double kill Kha'Zix, he just would not have the potential to all in against him. As it is now, though, he is going to have that potential. He will have, a little bit of time to farm himself up some XP right now. And that will give him that little bit of I wouldn't say an edge because he didn't get the kill, but it will give him a little bit more XP when Kha'Zix arrives back in the lane. And plus, he's going to have that big minion wave built up. Going to be able to just push him around. I will say, though, worth noting in the bot lane, actually, Hadel in a lot of trouble does dodge the bubble, though. That would land, but that could have been disastrous. Grasping Roots also whiffs from Kuja. I was going to actually say, Kuja's been taking a lot of poke in this bot lane.
Yeah, it looks like you want to get aggressive once again. Kuja being forced back, Volley comes down, and as you said, the poke coming out is actually very significant at this stage. Keyless just being so aggressive as that Nami, as his character allows him to do so. Lee Sin once again moving into that top lane. Tower is pushing in, so maybe looking for this creep wave to reset and get himself a kill, or maybe snag Mima the kill as well. Baloo just trying his best to stay us under turret. Not really sure what Svenskeren is looking for here, because Baloo is basically at full HP, and it will, basically take a long time for him to get anywhere close to getting a kill. But he is still fishing around. Ward goes down, Svenskeren, and basically he has to leave because the ward has completely revealed the situation.
Yep, and that is probably one of the risks of being a very, very patient jungle like that. If the enemy just kind of thinks, it's probably worth a ward to just check it, because we haven't seen him in quite a long time, and that's a bit surprising for a Lee Sin jungle. And then, oh yes, it turns out he was there. Especially when the wave actually starts pushing out as well. However, this bot lane, Gamer's Legend, has been spotted out. I don't think he's in vision range. I don't think that seed can see him. It can't. He's going in.
Yeah, not at the right of the side, and Hazel along with Kuja have been just forced back underneath the turret. Can he get the turret damage down in turn to pick up another kill? Kuja drops as well, 2-for-1 trade. Will the passive be enough? Probably not on Sneaky. This in fact clears out some of those minions. 2-for-1 trade, not a bad deal.
Yeah, but we've got Svenskeren in the top lane. Baloo has used the jump. He's gone in on Mima, but this was a bait. He's going to be taking the Q to the back of the head, but he's not going down very quickly. He's surprisingly tanky. Doran's Blade keeping him alive, plus the Flask healing. Can they get this now? They've got the Rune Prison down, and the Sonic Wave alone will pick that up. Nicely played there, but you've got to say, that's why Kha'Zix would have been so difficult for Mima to deal with if he'd gotten that earlier kill and the double buff. He would have just been like, that situation could have easily turned around, or at least meant Kha'Zix would have gotten away. Scary to deal with, but he is being shut down a little bit now, 1 and 2 as opposed to the 0 and 1. So neither top lane are doing particularly well. Spontek's actually getting aggressive in the mid lane, but don't think anything's going to come of it.
Yep, and also in that top lane as well, we've got Rise on 13 farm. You just see how aggressive Baloo's been basically just shoving him around, because we saw that minion wave coming in, so since then he's just been pushing him back, punting him around. 13 farm at 6 minutes, almost 7 minutes into the game. That's not pretty, and for a Rise who wants to get farmed, he wants to be getting into that mid-late game where he really scales in so hard, he's not going to reach that stage without any farm at all. So that you can see really why Lee Sin's been at that top lane. Picking up both of those kills, pretty good, will give Mima some breathing room, but at the same time he needs to start getting some kills himself to really keep himself in contention. Meanwhile, bot lane we do have Shyvana sniffing around, in fact just moving out of there. Lee Sin also maybe looking for this gank onto top and in fact mid and bot, sorry, beg my pardon. We do have Drake up. Probably won't be an objective for the next couple of minutes at least, until they make some sort of major advantage happen. But so far, only about 600 gold in the hands of LowLandLions ahead of Eternity. So nothing really to write home about this early on into the game.
Yeah, there's nothing too important that's happened right now, apart from in that top lane, but it's kind of been big swings going both directions that have mostly kind of cancelled each other out. Mima is a little bit behind, and Kha'Zix is going to want to try and get aggressive once he's hit level 6, because there is always that danger with Rise that he will eventually hit that point where he is going to just punish you so hard every time you go near the creeps. Baloo, we'll see what he opts for with his upgrades, and doesn't in fact go for the claws, which is not too surprising. Tend to see that most of the time. Going actually almost all in here on Mima. Mima turning it around, going to be trying to get aggressive, but may have misjudged that badly. The Ignite is ticking, but the pot keeps him alive. Diana going on the bottom though.
Yes, Spontex comes in with the Moonfall as well, picks up that kill. By the time I'd read out that ability name, already drops in a heartbeat. So much burst coming in from that lane, and the lockup, and Kuja as well. Zyra being one of those supports who does so much damage, and that'll be a very clean kill. This might even convert into a lot of damage onto this turret. Not quite the turret, but at least a decent chunk of it. Gamer's Legend coming in from the side, knowing that Spontex would have recalled by now. Dragon's Descent comes down. Nice wrangle forward to actually keep them alive, pushing back Kiel is just for a second. Tidal Wave comes down, knocks up Kuja. The damage coming from Gamer's Legend, that early game damage from Shyvana will secure the second kill in that 2 versus 2 situation.
Yeah, Shyvana being such a dangerous carry at this point. I mean, not carry, I don't know why I said that, but she's just so dangerous. I forgot that they'd actually changed it so it's no longer an armor debuff on her Flame Breath, but in Heat going to be in a lot of trouble now. Will look to ult himself and get the bubble to try and save him, but the dragon is still aggroed. The claw comes in, but it's not going to be able to do anything. Gamer's Legend just went in there, but way overestimated his ability to trade, and now Kialis is just going to get cleaned up. Triple kill for Svenskeren. That's not a good result. I have to wonder, why did he go for that?
Yeah, absolutely crazy. Triple kill, and the 2 kills he picked up before. He's got 5 out of the 7 kills right now for Eternity. And Lee Sin is basically the classic snowball jungle, the carry jungle, if you will. And with all those kills and the double wolf, this is his time to shine. Ward jump over the wall, connects the Sonic Wave into the resonating strike as well. With those auto attacks on that red buff, Sneaky trying his best to kite away. But he's cancelled his auto attacks 2 times, immediately picked up, and that's a 6-0 Lee Sin.
Yep, that sure is an ex-LCS player. Yeah, that's not good, right? Although, in fairness, actually, that was entirely Shyvana's fault that he got that triple kill. But I wouldn't ever want to critique people. Still, you've got to say right now, things are actually working out pretty well for Eternity. And oddly enough, it seemed to me that LowLandLions was winning the early game originally. But it does seem like Eternity are making the better calls at the moment, and I think we saw that in the last game as well. Hadel now going aggressive on Kialis, who will use that bubble. We're going to be keeping them away from there. However, this time I feel like LowLandLions actually probably have either an equivalent or possibly even a stronger late game and mid game team composition. Svenskeren going to be finding Baloo though, and now Baloo has to kind of run for his life. Svenskeren will look for the insect maneuver and will get it. The stealth surely is not going to be enough, but maybe it will. Hexdrinker is there. He's got the Q over the wall. Svenskeren got the timing skills, got the flash, got the red buff. Q lands, gets the kill. Could fight there from Kha'Zix, but no, not over yet, actually. Game is Legend going to be going aggressive, but nothing doing.
Such good timing, basically, from Svenskeren. Baloo knew exactly what he needed to do. He was waiting for that, for the Sonic Wave to tick off him so he could jump over the wall. But at that very instant, you could basically see him flying, and while he was in mid-flight, that was already clicked over from Svenskeren at securing that kill. It was just buying himself enough time, but Mima also dealing the damage basically caused that situation to be a time bomb for Baloo. And we do have Caitlyn just stealing away that golem and converting this into a kill as well onto Sneaky. In fact, the flash comes down, the Ace in the hole comes out. Keyless not quite in a position to follow up and keep him alive by body blocking, but doesn't even matter. The health pot will keep him alive with that ignite ticking down. And it's such a close situation. The Game is Legend now coming in once again, but Hadel and Kuja in a pretty good situation as they just harass them down once again.
However, mid tower goes down, and that forced Game is Legend to try and help in the bot lane. Actually didn't even get anything done, but it opened up that mid tower for the push. That means that he is now going to be kind of sitting sadly near the wreckage of his previous tower. And this just in, information for you, breaking news, important information. Turns out Caitlyn's auto attack animation and projectile is a little bit faster than Ash's because he got the fastest finger first on that golem, and I'm pretty sure he attacked afterwards. Game is Legend though is in the jungle, has found very angry moon person and other moon person. But actually, he is looking like he might get out. They're going to be going onto the tower now. We've got the damage coming down, but that auto attack will pick it up. Lissandra is around the side now, though. Has got the claw, has got the flash, Ring of Frost, but gets kicked away and is now in a lot of, not trouble necessarily. Baloo, though, he's in trouble. They've got Rise coming in from the backside, but it actually looks like he's going to be going aggressive on him. He's not diving past everyone, but it does look like everyone is just coming in from everywhere, and now we've just got Beer Baloo getting caught out, going to be getting the rooted, and then Heidel putting down the auto attack for the finisher, but that was messy.
Yeah, very messy, with everyone basically just collapsing in from all over the map. It was just, you didn't quite know who was going to win out, and neither of the teams did either, because it was like, well, it's a 2 versus 2, now it's a 3 versus 2, now it's a 4 versus 3. I'm not entirely sure we should be backing up or committing right here, and that was a 2 for 0 trade, but they could have committed even harder had they known who was collapsing in from their own team. But that didn't quite happen because it was just, as you said, so messy. That being said, Lee Sin kept himself alive for so long because he is going for this sort of more tanky build, more conservative build, which will allow him to transition into that mid and late game even better. And he's still relying on the damage coming in from his levels, because right now he's level 9. This is maybe a little bit higher than he usually expects to be because he is ahead of that bot lane in levels, purely because of the amount of kills and how aggressive he's been over the board.
Yeah, and now he's got that Aegis of the Legion, now he's got that Sightstone. He is going to be both very mobile, and because, as you mentioned, he's ahead of the game, his damage is still very significant. In fact, you will notice he's not maxing that E, which is a little bit surprising to me, but Diana in this mid lane getting aggressive, actually jumps on before the Moonlight proc arrives, and Svenskeren from the backside. This is a problem, but Tidal Wave turnaround, we've got the Ice Arrow from nowhere. Spontek's in trouble, knocks him out of the bubble there with the Shyvana ult, but it does look like that is not going to be any more than one kill. Kha'Zix is coming around though. Svenskeren has got that Sightstone. He is super mobile. Will he be able to get out? Will get aggressive. Imhi has been set up here, but will survive the claw. Not going to be important, but we'll be using it anyway. Baloo, though, now in trouble. Has got to get out of there. Sneaky, putting down damage, but gets booted into Game is Legend. Stranglethorns goes down. Piltover, Peacemaker, and the Svenskeren over the wall. And, in fact, is not going to be getting any kills for going over the wall. It's just going to make me panic because I think I've missed something.
Yeah, Gamers, I don't think he quite realized he was in range, and Lee Sin looping around the side was just in range just to double click that resonating strike and bring himself into contention, maybe to pick up another kill. He did, however, burn that flash from Gamers Legend. That's fairly important when it comes into this stage in the game because it will relieve some pressure. And just with Exeternity now being on the aggressive, last game we saw LowLandLions basically being the aggressive for most of the game because of their composition. This time, completely reversal with Exeternity taking the early advantage and just rolling with it with the 7-0 and 3 Lee Sin. That's 10 out of the 12 kills he's assisted in, such a major factor in this game. He's looking really, really strong, and because he's so tanky, they can't really focus him out. They have to look towards those carries, but with that such a strong front line and being on the defensive as well, they can't break that front line to even get anywhere that makes a dent in their armor, I guess. And LowLandLions will be aggressing onto this Drake, Eternity Spontex, and Sven Skaren over the wall. And we actually have Imp coming in with the Glacial Path, looking for this ultimate to come down. The Frozen Tomb comes down just for the finisher. Sven Skaren over the wall, looking to maybe get out or maybe reclaim a kill onto Gamers Legend. Pops over the wall, doesn't quite want to use the ultimate just yet, but Haydal now trading off with Gamers Legend. No one really to assist him just yet. Flashes down. He's going to fall. Sven Skaren knocking Keyless over the wall. Flash comes down, keeping himself safe. Sneaky finds himself caught with Mayo popping down the room prison. Sven Skaren now following up as well. Lands the Q and looking to lock him up once more. Sneaky just trying his best, but he can't kite out of those two tanky bruisers. And they will just be backing off. 2-for-1 trade. Keyless dropping so low. Flash is burnt as well. Sven Skaren, great reactions coming in from Blue, even while he was recalling Leap, keeping him safe. But Sven Skaren just all over them right now.
Lee mechanics, just such good, incredible Lee mechanics. Just having that presence of mind to simultaneously be bouncing all over the fight, jumping towards, jumping to people, and then having the presence of mind, the understanding of the situation, the knowledge that you've got an AD carrying support actually doing nothing over the wall at Baron, at Dragon, and say, well, here you are, I've got something for you, and just booting him over the wall into that pit. Did actually manage to flash out Kialis. Oh, and there was another thing in that fight which was kind of slightly sad for Shyvana. She was so close to having enough fury to jump out and kept desperately trying to run around in that pit, being chased around like a chicken from a rifle. I don't know why you hunt chickens with a rifle, but she was being chased around, trying desperately to land enough auto attacks to generate the fury for the jump out, and I think she died on 99.
Wow, that is quite sad indeed. And I was just gonna say, Nami in that dragon pit felt a bit like a fish in a barrel. Hashtag tons of damage. So Spontex in that top lane, looking maybe to jump onto Baloo. But with Sven Skaren coming around the side, Baloo knows when not to stick around. And Sven Skaren, in fact, just find himself a minion to maybe jump to if he wants to.
Yeah, well, right now Sven Skaren does not really fear, mere mortals attempting to kill him. If he gets into a 1v2 or 1v3, maybe he'll go down, but one-on-one, there is no one in this game that can pin him down long enough to do enough damage. And honestly, he doesn't even really care too much about going into very otherwise dangerous situations. And the thing is, they've got to be so careful, LowLandLions. If they get caught out here, they are going to be getting jumped on. We have got the ultimate from him. He's keeping himself alive in the middle of the fight, but he is going to be trying to run away. Does use the claw to get over the wall, and is in fact now in a death fight with Spontex. Spontex will go down as well, I believe, to the Ignite. We have got Gamers Legend just spewing out fire, and is going to not go down to the Zyra passive. Will go down instead. Caitlyn ult. We have also got Mima chasing down Kiala. It's going to be getting kited by Sneaky, but not enough. The Q, the dodgeball says hi, and it does look like once again LowLandLions are kind of falling behind in this game.
Yeah, we've got a lot of things here, Spuddington. So 3-for-1 trade so far coming in from Eternity in a very good position. Very good position indeed. Spontex stealing away the blue buff as well. Denying that from Heat is going to be another major factor when we get into the next team fight. And every time they win a team fight, okay, they may not take the most amazing of pushes. I say that, but they just pick up top turret and the blue buff. But this time around, they definitely are. Baloo wants this opportunity to jump to Haydar, but the big crit coming in from that headshot as well from the crit will be dropping it very low. In fact, the Piltover lands as well. One more auto attack would have finished them off, and that would have given them even more space to maybe pick up another objective. But for now, they're just in a very good position. Honestly, this game feels like it's not in its infancy, but very, very in its adulthood, I guess, because we're actually Haydar jumping over the wall onto Gamers Legend, expecting that just to be a free red buff, but it's definitely not. Tidecall's Blessing will be chasing them down as well, following through with the Flame Breath, and should be able to pick up the this kill. Barrier comes down, but Spontex from the side as well will be looking to regain the kill. Shutdown comes in from Nami. Moonfall comes out as well, but now this is a 1 versus 2 situation. Zyra coming down as well. Iron Heat looking to join the fray once again. 3 versus 2 situation. 2 supports come in, and the Kuja locking them up with a perfect grasping route, forcing them back and having no vision over the rest of the map for Maya, or even Spence Garen will force them back and to stop the pursuit, basically.
Yeah, that is one of the telling things now about Shyvana and why she isn't picked that much. You notice there that in that fight with Diana, even though Diana has, oh, hello, Diana has killed the fish. Diana,
Is it cold in here?
she's built, not that tanky. She's built Zhonya's, she's built 2 Dorans, but she's not like a tank. And yet Shyvana is having real trouble actually even scratching her through that shield. And that is just telling, because now Shyvana has no CC built into her kit. She's fairly tanky, yes, but she doesn't have that much damage either. So at this point, it's very easy for the carries from X-Eternity to just kind of ignore them. And that's very, very dangerous thing. And meanwhile, we have Caitlyn saying "Do Wolf" in the chat. I don't.
It's basically
the team are?
It was because Spence Garen and Kuja were basically waiting in the wolf pit, and then Ash was like, "Oh, okay, Hawk," and revealed both of them. That's basically what happened right there. And report Haydel coming in from Eternity makes a lot of sense. Basically revealing their gig, and everything will be stopped. But that will be them converting it into a top push. Diana pushing the bot lane as well. So two-pronged attack coming out. No teleport from that team will mean that if they go for that 4 versus 5 trade coming in from LowLandLions, that might be their chance to come back into the game. Baron is up as well if they choose to go for it after a strong trade. If they go for like a 4 for 0 trade, that could definitely be on the cards for them. And with Diana pushing bot as well, this is very, very difficult because it forces them into mid lane, making sure that they have someone to deal Diana. In fact, we do have Nami coming down, so it's going to be a 2 versus 1 situation, and he will have to make something happen. Tactical's blessing comes out, but the damage coming out from that Luna rush, we have the... we've got the... Spontex popping down the Zhonya's, could not get that words out. Picks up a kill, 1 versus 4 situation, still picks up 1 kill when we return. That will mean, however, Eternity pushing down mid lane, picks up a tower in return. And this is such a horrible position, 1 trade and the tower and a huge push coming down mid. Very, very little that LowLandLions can do about it. Will they go for this initiation?
It does in fact look like they're going for it, but the Stranglethorns is going to cut off everyone. The Gamers Legend is now taking a ton of damage. The Claw zones out the carries, but it's not going to matter. Spence Garen has been locked down, but he just does not get locked down for long enough. Jumps out immediately. We've got Kha'Zix going in. Does manage to get the reset. Will get that kill and will not die for it, but Sneaky does die. Imhi did die. And now Gamers Legend was forced away, as was Blue. So what can they do? They've got the home guard, but I don't know if they can actually do anything. Mima just calling the bluff of that Aqua Prison. Does look like they may go for this now. They have got Kha'Zix off to the side. They have got Gamers Legend in the middle, and Hadel now in a lot of trouble. Kha'Zix actually turning around, goes for Zyra, picks that up. Hadel gets Prison, gets Void Spikes to the back, and will get picked up by Shyvana. So they won that fight, but are they doing? Is that going to be enough?
Yeah, the question is right now, Spuddington, was that enough in return for that middle turret? Because now having that inhibitor exposed means that at any point in time, Eternity can actually go for this push onto that inhibitor. But they pick up Spontex as well. This would definitely be worth it. Spontex trying his best to get to that wall. Flash comes down. Will they follow? Gamers Legend definitely looking for this one. And he's not quite able to connect any sort of a CC because he is, of course, Shyvana. Spontex just trying to get to the rest of his team. Spence Garen over the wall as well. Baloo's still following a 1 versus 2 situation. Can he get in there in time? We've got the Zhonya's coming down. There's the word. And Gamers Legend will be keeping himself alive, though. They're getting Tragic Crystal Arrow, locks up Spence Garen. This is another kill, but that will be a 1-for-1 trade and a 2-for-1 trade overall. The double kill comes in for Baloo, and this is the perfect opportunity for LowLandLions to get something done.
Yeah, they can take objectives now. They're going to take this dragon. I wouldn't be surprised to see Kha'Zix then rotate towards that bottom lane along with Lissandra. They've got that potential, and that was a good series of fights for them. They're now only about 5k gold behind, which is significant, but it's not enormous for the stage of the game. They're actually not going to go for that bot tower. Possibly fearing that revenge Baron, but I don't like that. I think they should have gone for that tower and then possibly, looked to not necessarily get aggressive on further towers after that, but then they could just get towards that Baron area themselves. They still, however, have the potential to win these fights because they just got so much CC. I mean, you saw Spence Garen just getting locked up for, I mean, it must have been at least 5 or 6 seconds there. It was a small gap, and he was able to finish off his target in the end, but just getting locked down like, as you know, I'm trying to think of a metaphor. I don't know what gets locked up. Prisoners. Like a
Prisoners
prisoner.
get locked up.
Yes.
Them analogies.
Yes.
2013.
Analogies. I make analogy. But anyway, it does look like Svenskeren is coming on the mid lane.
Yep, in fact, just gonna cycle around the side and say hello to everyone. Prison comes down. Gamers Legend on that front line. Spontex actually dives very, very deep indeed. And trying to cross right and down the mid lane, knits himself through everybody. Dragon's Descent comes down, ace the hole over the wall. Caitlyn is definitely not in this fight just yet. Svenskeren gets out of the side, but that's a huge amount of damage locked up so far. Sneaky just on the back foot once again. Completely nuked down and deleted from the map by Spontex. Double kill comes in for the support of Zyra, and Keyless just once again the last fish standing and will be drifting back to his base. Valou just can't fit himself in around that backside of that Eternity lineup, and this definitely looks like it could be the game.
Yes, however, there is one small chance in that there is a Svenskeren there who is a free reset for Valou if he gets caught, but it's not going to happen. That's going to be a flying series of kicks in various directions, and dead fish, dead everyone actually. Just there's no way around it. GG Hadel, you still bad, says Unheap. But regardless, wow, reported. But anyway, the Nexus goes down, and that is going to be X Eternity taking that game. That was a 2-0 victory for them, and I have to say, both those games fairly solidly taken as well. They didn't really, I mean, there were a couple of hairy moments for them, but I've got to say I feel like they were the better team and that they genuinely really deserved this win.
Yeah, X Eternity looked very, very strong, and I'm sure their new sponsors will be very, very happy with that victory as well. Extremely solid and consistent performance. I'd have to say from LowLandLions, though, they had the potential. They were never quite able to force the right objectives. We always got to the point where yes, they made an advantage happen, but they were never able to do enough and get far enough ahead that they could continue that advantage. Because, okay, we pick up a Drake, but then, in fact, X Eternity is just going to take all of your towers. So many times, it may have also been decision-making. We were talking about this a little in the break as well, Spuddington. We were saying, well, in that last game, in the first round, in fact, when you were contesting over Dragon, and X Eternity were like, why are we fighting over Dragon? Let's just take their base. And then they did that. The timing call went in, and LowLandLions were like, oh, they left. Better take Drake. And they lost their entire base as a result. That was a huge push. And then when they collapsed on them, LowLandLions were, X Eternity were in a better position than LowLandLions because they were expecting them to come from that direction. In the second game, we didn't quite have that scenario because LowLandLions had the scaling, so they were trying to keep themselves alive. But I think the direction they brought their team in wasn't as concise or solid as X Eternity. They didn't have the right fluidity in their team play. But definitely both teams very, very strong. Excited to see maybe more from LowLandLions if they can take something away from this game and come back in the future. But for now, that was a very convincing win coming in for X Eternity 2-0. And I guess now it's plugging time until we move on to the next game.
Yeah, pretty much is. There will be another best of 3 coming up later, but I don't believe it's scheduled to start for another hour or more. So that's slightly unfortunate, but that's what happens when you have 2 relatively quick games in a best of 3 series where you have to plan around it potentially being up to, 2.5 hours. As it happens, though, we will be just, mentioning if you've enjoyed the casting. I know you have, all of you. But if you like me in particular, you may follow me on my Facebook and my Twitter, which links will be coming up in chat fairly shortly. Twitter.com/Spuddington and Facebook.com/SpuddingtonCasts. Oh, and to that guy in chat, believe the next game was going to... Wait, it was EUW, wasn't it, next? I think it was EUW. I heard my producer say something, but I didn't understand what he said. EUW versus Reason. I knew it was EUW. But anyway, Pulse, how about you?
Yeah, Super versus Reason. We were talking about it earlier and I completely forgot. But if you want to follow me, I will be casting the next game as well. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am @Impulsible. And if you want to head over there, I will be doing a giveaway for some Riot NASA's codes and some RP codes as well when I hit 100 followers. So if you go ahead and tell your friends about it, then you can definitely snag yourself some free RP or even Riot NASA's code. Probably will be giving another one away on my Facebook as well. So that is facebook.com/watchyourpulse. And once again, my Twitter is @Impulsible. But until the next game, guys, we will see you soon. Have fun and yeah, stay tuned.